St. Augustine, Florida, 1695, San Marco Avenue. A colossal fort was constructed in order to safeguard the township from invading forces. Located right on the intercoastal Castillo de San Marcos, commonly known as the Fort. The fort is currently known as being built by the Spanish colonial government to protect St. Augustine. Its composition consists of a stone known as coquina, which is comprised of ancient shells bonded together to form a stone similar to limestone. Was this fort really built by the Spanish? Ancient astronaut theorists suggest that this may not be the case. This is Ancient City Aliens.
There is no way these people could have built this massive structure with the technology they had. I mean, there's just no evidence for this.
Yeah, I don't think the Spanish built the fort. Every time I go by it, every time I smell it, I see it, and taste it sitting at home, I genuinely think that, I don't think the Spanish built it. I mean, where are the blueprints? Where are the documents? Where's the e-document? Where's the flash drives? They're not there.
Without the blueprints, it wouldn't make sense the Spanish could have constructed the structure that we now know as the fort. Is it possible that highly advanced extraterrestrials could have constructed this immense fort?
Look at the pyramids. I mean, there are just these massive structures and no one knows how they got there. The San Marcos Fort is 320 acres, and it consists of many, many tons of stone. How could the Spanish haul that stone?
The Spanish didn't have the technology. That's simple. They came over here on what? Wooden boats that 80% of them died from getting sick. They didn't know how to fix a cold. And then they took the Indians, took them captive, used them as slaves. You know, that's how they, as of now, we know Indians as creating the television and the iPod. But yeah, they, not to get off track, but they just didn't have the technology. And the aliens did. Our brothers, our sisters, they did.
With the monumental amount of stone the Spanish would have had to carry, it wouldn't have been feasible that they would have successfully constructed the fort. While discussing the structure of the fort, one must ponder why the fort is shaped in such a particular manner. Ancient astronaut theorists suggest that there is a meaning behind the shape of this fort.
If we look at the shape of the fort, what do we see? We see a big square with triangles on each end. Could these shapes tied together convey some kind of meaning? Is it possible that these shapes can represent some kind of alien communication device?
I don't know if you've ever driven by the fort, or if you walked by it, or if you even climbed it. If so, it looks like a big star. And what's in space? Stars, right? So the aliens, I think, built that in a certain shape as a beacon and as a label to our world.
While examining the fort, ancient astronaut theorists discovered something shocking. Energy levels pulling the fort upward.
When approaching the fort, you enter the perimeter and immediately you can feel the energy from within. It almost emanates outwards, like some kind of alien fuel source is being burned many miles away, and they're using this technology to spy on humans on Earth.
We tested these claims by attempting to scale the fort wall, and as you can see, this theorist scaled the wall easily with the assistance of this highly advanced energy field. Is it possible that these energy fields surrounding the fort are extraterrestrial energy fields being used for a greater purpose? Could these findings be proof of an extraterrestrial spacecraft? We contacted a park ranger that is currently employed at the Castillo de San Marcos Fort to ask them about these findings. What we found was astonishing.
Well, you didn't hear this from me, but there's been whispers about something unknown or unrevealed about the fort. I mean, sure, the Spanish building the fort is the Occam's razor, or the easiest solution in layman's terms. However, that doesn't explain the energy source the fort emits. I mean, when I travel near or around the fort, I feel myself being pulled upward. Now, what does this mean? Could that mean that maybe the fort is some sort of extraterrestrial vessel? It could, but you didn't hear that from me.
If you look at the distinct shape of the Castillo de San Marcos, it's not shaped like other Spanish forts. You can see that there's points on either end, almost as if it's designed to spin and fly off into the horizons and into the galaxies.
It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before that fort flies away. I've seen it. I've seen it fly. I've seen it land. I've seen it take off. I've seen it. Hell, I've seen it in New Orleans. I'd say every about twice a year during like 3 a.m. It takes off and goes for like a little test flight. They keep it there. That's what I think is honestly, you know, people say it's a beacon. I even said it was a beacon, but I'm just trying to hide the fact that what I've seen. I don't, you know, I don't hope this interview doesn't get out. I have people constantly send me emails and letters, and I even had a man the other day knock on my door trying to arrest me. You know, I've seen too much, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, I think the fort is pulling, and I think the fort is going to be pulling so hard where sooner or later it can't take these little test flights anymore. It's just going to go right back home.
A fort on the edge of downtown St. Augustine, with highly advanced otherworldly energy fields encompassing it. Is it possible that this fort is actually a spacecraft? And might it have allowed a gateway for extraterrestrials to monitor humans' activity on Earth? It's possible that the Castillo de San Marcos fort could be a part of some otherworldly plan. What will happen when these truths are revealed? Is mankind prepared for this knowledge? But for now, only the few who care to be enlightened will ascertain this knowledge.